Welcome everybody to our next episode of Coyote Research Talks. I'm Ryan Keating. I'm the director of the Office of Student Research, and I'm joined today by three outstanding Coyotes, two current students and one alumni who are going to tell us a little bit about their experiences with research and give you all some tips about how to get involved in research. So thank you all for being here. I'm really excited to have this panel come together, and I think that our students will learn a lot. If we don't mind, let's introduce each other and then tell us where we are and maybe what our next steps are. So Ariel, we'll start with you.
Hi, I'm Ariel Lin. I graduated from CSUSB in December of 2019. I am currently a second-year PhD student at the University of Washington. Between my time from graduating and becoming a PhD student, I worked as a research scientist at the University of Washington. So basically, I was a staff research scientist. And I got involved in research at CSUSB because I wasn't sure whether or not I was ready to take Biology 300 at the time. I don't know what it is now, but it's cell physiology. And so I talked to the professor of that class to also understand like what I'm interested in, my future life goals, and if like taking this class would be applicable to my career plans. And I told him I wanted to go to graduate school, and he told me that getting research experience is essential to applying to graduate school. And so later on in the quarter, after I had already done some of the labs, some of the coursework, he recognized that I was working really hard, and knowing what my career plans were, he offered me a spot in his lab because he said it would be conducive to my career plans. Yeah.
Awesome, cool. And you're doing a PhD in biology, is that right?
I'm doing a PhD in molecular engineering.
Oh, wow.
And so it's pretty far, like a big transition. So I worked I worked in a biochemistry lab as a research scientist, but I wanted to do something a little bit more applicable to developing like new technologies rather than just doing research on proteins and yeast. But I think the best part about I guess even though there weren't any like engineering classes at CSUSB besides computer engineering, which I did not take, there weren't any or biological engineering or chemical engineering classes. But I think the skills that I gained at CSUSB for other classes helped prepare me to like take on these classes that are outside my field, and encouraged me to take that risk to jump into a new field.
Yeah, and I mean this is great for our viewers because sometimes they might think, "Oh, I have this research opportunity in this one field. I don't know if that's what I necessarily want to do." But you
Right.
know, you can pivot, right? And the more experience you gain, the more knowledge you have about where you want to go and then how to pivot. So that's really great. Thank you for sharing. Jump over to Ramtin. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're working on.
Absolutely. Okay, so my name is Ramtin Ranjpour. I'm a second year graduate student of communication studies here at CSUSB. I'm hopefully going to be starting my PhD next semester. My research revolves around public relations and integrated marketing communications. The reason I got involved with research, my background comes from computer engineering. That was my undergrad. That's my bachelor's degree. And the reason I got involved with research was because it was all new to me. Honestly, in undergrad, it was just, doing assignments and projects, not really being involved in research, and I wanted to experience research and see if I was into it. And as it turns out, I was very much into it, and I liked it. I started doing different research projects on my own with my professors, and and I decided to go for a PhD, and that is pretty much me.
All right.
Yeah.
Where did you apply for PhD programs in the state of California or everywhere?
So I applied pretty much everywhere. I applied to two schools here in California, and I'm still waiting to hear back from UC Davis and UC Irvine. Fingers crossed. But but yeah, I basically applied to a bunch of schools. I've so far back from five. I've gotten into four so far, but we'll see. We'll see what's gonna happen.
Congratulations. That's really exciting news.
Thank you.
Wow, we should celebrate outside of Coyote Research Talks. That's really wonderful. All right, last but not least, Negin.
Hi everyone. My name is Negin. I'm a current grad student in the MAPS program. That's the Psychological Sciences program here in Cal State San Bernardino. I am currently in my last year working on my thesis. The way I got involved in research is when I was an undergrad, I took a introductory psychology course. I talked to a advisor or like a faculty there that was teaching the course, and she told me, oh, she had a lab, and she kind of told me that I should try it out and see if I liked it. And at the time, actually, it was a more behavioral analysis lab, and at the time, I wasn't sure what research avenue I wanted to really take, but I did it, and I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was really fulfilling. So after that, I did a post-bac in UCI, and then I joined Cal State San Bernardino with my current advisor, Dr. Hasija. And then after that, last fall, I applied to PhD programs, and as of a couple hours ago, I found out that I got in, and I'm going to be accepting the offer. I'm really excited for clinical psychology.
Great, congratulations. This is very exciting. I think that one of the great things about this story is from all three of you, for our students to hear, is just the success that's tied to it, right? I mean, we talk about getting involved in research, and we talk about what the opportunities can be, or the outcomes can be, and it's really exciting to hear from the three of you about how that's impacted positively. I say all the time, well, you do research because you have to build your resume and credentials, and that's one of the ways to not only figure out where you want to go, but also to be competitive at the next step. And I think that all three of you showcase how that's what I'm saying in action, maybe. And so it's awesome to hear about your all successes, and really each and every one of you is really a reflection of just how great the opportunities are here at CSUSB. So let me ask you this: so what is the most fulfilling part for each of you about doing research, or what was the most fulfilling part about doing research as an undergraduate or a graduate student? Anybody want to jump in?
I'll start. I can start.
Okay.
Sorry, Ramtin, I know you had your I think the most fulfilling part for me of just being part of research is just being able to be flexible with my creative ideas and what I want to explore. I think that's something that it was really interesting to me and really drew me into research, and especially having a wonderful advisor as Dr. Hasija, where she gives the flexibility of research. I think I was fortunate enough to do that, but overall, I think research just lets you be creative and want to explore, and you just need curiosity and some imagination and a really awesome topic, and just go after it and do some literature review. But the hard work comes afterwards for sure, but it's great.
Yeah, I mean, I always like it, right? Because we read other people's work, and that's what you take classes, you read what other people are doing, and then when you're actually taking that step and engaging in research, it's like, oh, here's the nitty gritty, right? Here's how we ourselves can make an impact on our field, right? In big and small ways. So anybody else want to jump in?
I can go next. I think when it comes to research and why we do it, I think it's that moment where you're interested or curious about a topic and you go, huh. And in that moment you realize you're at least starting to get it. And as it relates to research, my advice for anyone would be to research what they're passionate about, because if you do research about what you're passionate about, it means you're going to give your 100% to it, and that means the result are also going to be 100%. So my advice would be just to find those questions you're passionate about finding the answers to, and just follow them.
Yeah, I think my favorite part about research is I think it's like the best way to learn something, at least science wise. When you're taking classes and you have to do those labs that are associated with classes, like understanding how these experimentalists came to these conclusions really helps cement that information in your brain. And that applies to the research that I'm doing right now. Like I'm truly understanding how cells work on a molecular level because I'm doing this research.
Great. And let me just say, and I'm just gonna make a comment, and I hope it's not too big of an assumption here, but one of the things too that I've noticed from talking with all three of you is that research really takes you to different places, right? I mean, so Ariel, you're in Seattle. Negin, you'll be in Mississippi, I believe, and Ramtin, you haven't made the decision yet, right? But you may well be outside of California come next year, and I think that that's really cool, right? These opportunities to travel, to live in other places, to be at other universities, are really made possible in part by by that engagement and research, right? As an undergraduate or a master's student, and now it opens doors, right? And the doors keep opening the further along you get. And for students that are listening too, right? There's opportunities to travel, to present your work at conferences, to study abroad, and all of these can be tied to research. So let me ask this, and we try to keep these under 15 minutes, and so that's a good thing. But if you could go back and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be for students listening? So I'll tell you mine. Mine would be to listen to my advisors, because I always thought I knew it all, right? And so my advisors would say stuff, and I'd be like, okay. And I wish I'd gone back, and I wish I could have maybe listened more closely, because there were a lot of times that I feel like I hit my head against a wall until it broke through, rather than just stepping to the side and walking through the open door, because I didn't do well listening. So that would be my piece of advice. But I don't know if you all have anything that is off the top of your head that you'd share.
Yeah, I'd love to go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I would say that definitely don't be afraid to take risks. Like I said, I didn't get to take any engineering classes at Cal State, and so I was worried applying to a molecular engineering program. I was worried that I wouldn't be prepared to take the graduate level coursework in like chemical engineering or bioengineering. But I had faith in myself that, I worked really hard during my undergrad. I practiced all my study skills. I'm able to think independently and learn independently. And so I just had confidence and tried anyway to apply to molecular engineering programs. I got into one. I'm doing great at one. My GPA is pretty good. And I think it's just important to understand that the skills, like learning how to learn, is like 75% of the work. You'll definitely just getting that research experience, the academic experience, you can apply it to anywhere, not just your own field.
That's great advice. Thank you. Who are we going to pass it over to?
I guess I'll go. I was gonna actually talk about risk taking and not being afraid of taking risks, but beyond that, I think sometimes students are really I guess not afraid, but intimidated by research, and that's why they're afraid, and they think that taking risks is too risky, or it's beyond their comfort zone. But I think finding something that you're passionate about and you want to make that change in the world, and you want to put your name on it, and just get science a little bit closer to perfect. I think that's one big motivation that I would tell myself, younger self, and not to be afraid, and that's the reason for it.
Thank you. Yeah, and just this whole idea, and Ramtin, you want to answer real quick before I chime in, or?
Yeah, I was just gonna say something along the same lines, to chase experiences. You never know what you're gonna like, and to just develop this mindset of being ambitious and being obsessive.
Yeah, I mean,
I think is really important.
These are all really great pieces of advice, and something that I really hope that the students listening here will take to heart. You're only here on a college campus for a short amount of time, and it really in those years, the more you pursue and the more you explore and the more curious you are, the more doors potentially can open. And well, research may not lead you down a path to graduate school or a career in that field. It's going to provide you with really an incredible set of opportunities, and I think that it will help you discover who you are and what you're passionate about. And to me, right there, that's the big thing about this engagement in research. You get to meet great faculty, you get to work with the Office of Student Research, which is the best office on campus. That's what the recent survey of all students involved in OSR activities said. And you get to meet other students that are as passionate as you are about their fields of study, and that's really an exciting thing, this intellectual community that you'll be engaged in as a result of taking that first step in research. So I just want to thank our panelists, our recent alumni and soon to be alumni who are going on to do great things and represent CSUSB in really outstanding ways. I appreciate you all taking the time to share your thoughts. And for those of you out there who are listening, stop by OSR, come talk to us, come drop into our workshops, come to Meeting of the Minds, which is taking place in April, on April 8th. And don't be strangers, right? If it's something that you're interested in, take that first leap and go after it. So thank you all.